Hey, what's up? It's me again. Well, making another video somewhat soon. Well, I wouldn't say soon, but if my dad's going to be off for 3 days at least, then I better make a video because this is basically Friday. So what I'd like to talk about in this video, which I'm wearing my Halloween bracelet because unfortunately we only have 10 days left. So whatever I can't get done within the next 10 days will not happen for Halloween. What I'd like to talk about today is something that I really wasn't planning to talk about. Okay, first of all, I'd like to get out the way that we've just had our full moon, and unfortunately, that means that unlike last Halloween, we will actually not have a moon during the time that they would be trick-or-treating. You know, last Halloween was just so perfect in so many ways. Halloween 2020, if it wouldn't have been for the COVID thing, it would have been just so perfect as far as Halloween being a Saturday, and there was a rare full moon on or around Halloween, just like the scary movies. So, unfortunately, now that we've had our full moon, it will gradually wane during the next 2 weeks, and we'll have a new moon in early November. So we'll have a waning crescent moon around the time of Halloween, and what that means is basically it will be out during most of the day of Halloween, but then it will not rise again until we've reached November 1st. So the wee hours of November 1st, it will come back out. So it won't be out for Halloween, assuming we haven't even have clear skies. But anyway, that doesn't really concern me because I'm too old for trick-or-treating. I've been for a long time. And Halloween is just really kind of falling out of favor, I think, everywhere. You know, it's pretty impertinent to my life by now, and I don't know why I really get into it anymore. I guess tradition. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's like everywhere you go, it's like they just don't cater to that to quite the extent that they used to. You know, everywhere you go, it's like, yeah, there still is some Halloween stuff, but it's almost like they order less of it and they don't get a new shipment because they don't want to be stuck with it. You know, once you get into October, they just don't get any more shipments. So you're stuck with whatever they had in September minus whatever people bought. And everything is Day of the Dead instead of traditional Halloween. You know, they don't have a lot of the Halloween cookies they used to have to bake, and they don't have orange and black icing and a lot of other things. But anyway, enough about Halloween and the moon and all that. And the other thing, of course, you know, we don't have Mars in the sky, which was so perfect a year ago. That orange star, which it isn't red, it's orange, like a tiny little pumpkin a few million miles away. So, anyway, what I'd like to talk about today is something that I had totally not planned. So, I get on the internet or YouTube, and somehow or another, there's this video that really upset me, or it really has me angry. And it's about some kind of a bill about transgender athletes. And it happened to be in Texas. See, that's what really makes me mad, is that this is happening in Texas, and I'm fully in favor of it. You know, I think that they should do, you know, like they should ban transgenders from participating as the opposite sex. And I will not allow comments on this video because I know somebody is going to tell me that I'm wrong, and I will not allow it. So anyway, I think it's totally wrong to force that on people, and that they should be forced to either participate as the biological sex that they were born into, or, and this would be the best option, just not compete. You know, that's what they should do. They just should not be competing. And really and truly, the debate should not be about whether or not they can participate in sports. It should be whether or not they can go to that school. Like, you know, they didn't allow pregnant girls to go to school once they got pregnant in my day. So it's like, why should they get all these special rights and privileges? Why should they be forced, or why should other people be forced into their delusion, is what I'm trying to say. Why should they be allowed to force other people into their delusional way of thinking? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we are seeing the drastic consequences of allowing that behavior. You know, there was a time when I'm pretty sure they would have only been able to, you know, like go to a school where they didn't interact with the other kids, like whatever that learning program was for the girls that got pregnant. They were like on credit recovery. But they would not have been allowed to mix with the kids who were normal, so to speak. So, I really don't like this justification around it, this idea that boys should be able to compete with girls and vice versa if they identify as one. But you know, that is the consequence of allowing this lie to be told. You see, it's like, I feel like you're setting up the child for failure. I feel like it's cruel to even do that to a kid. You know, to tell them from the time they're a little child that if they want to be the opposite sex, you know, they can be just as much of a girl or a boy or what have you as someone born that way. I feel like that's cruel to even tell that to a child, to affirm them in that, because you're just kicking the can down the street. You are setting them up for failure, because eventually they're going to come to the realization that no, I'm not just like the opposite sex. There are limitations to what they can do. So, you know, I mean, I'm glad that I was not affirmed in thinking that I was a boy. You know, I'm so glad for that, because it's like, I feel like the fact that I have a full head of hair and I'm still alive and pretty much healthy is because I did not begin testosterone or try to live as a male. And I'm glad I have parents who basically told me that, you know, I'm just not their son and they will not call me he and him. I mean, not that I actually expected them to do that, but you know, my mom told me in no uncertain terms that if I even refer to myself as trans or use the words transition or transgender to refer to myself, she will transition my face into a million pieces. You know, not if I get top surgery, not if I get on hormones, not if I legally change my name, if I even use that word in reference to myself. Okay? So I'm glad, because, you know, I feel like they're just setting these kids up for problems later on when they affirm them in a lie, basically. They indulge in this lie, which is what it is. And so I feel like, you know, it has consequences that are felt by other people. You know, it's unfortunate because, you know, the transgender child is no longer the only one affected by this. It's everyone around them that has to interact with them, you know. But what really makes me mad, you know, is not so much that they have these people that would like to see boys allowed to compete in girl sports, okay? That is just the necessary conclusion, you know. I mean, unfortunately, that's just what's going to happen when you allow kids to continue in such a delusion as that. What really makes me mad, though, and I've stated this before, is that there is a group of people that really could change the way this is going, and they are very powerful, and they could do something about it. And that is the parents of the girls, the actual girls or real girls. You know, I hate the term cisgender. The parents of the girls who would be competing with these boys that want to be girls, okay? I wish we would be hearing more from them. You know, if they would stand up and say, no, my daughter will not compete with a biological male. No, my child will not share a locker room with the opposite biological sex. And if I have to, I will pull them out of school. Okay? Those kinds of people, you know, the 99% that would be affected by this, they could do something about it. Because if genetic females will not participate under those conditions, there could be no women's sports. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of hard to say this, but I'm not so much, I mean, yes, I am, but it's just par for the course. It's not so much that I'm angry about the males that will actually compete against genetic females, knowing that they may have an advantage, okay? That's bad enough, but what really makes me angry is when the actual genetic females will still compete in these sports, knowing that there can be biological males, or that there are, competing in them. It's like, why would a woman agree to run track if she knew that someone who is biologically male was also running? You know what I'm saying? Because, that's what I would do. I would just flat out refuse, because I hated sports. I could make a whole video about that, how much I hate sports. I never even wanted to participate in PE class, just to get a grade. I hated that. And that's what I don't quite understand is, how can they think that they're a girl in a boy's body if they have such an interest in sports? See, that doesn't compute. It's like, if you're interested in sports, how are you a girl on the inside? You know what I'm saying? If you were really a girl, it's like you wouldn't care about sports. So I really think that there's more that could be done, and I wish the 99% would wake up and do something about it.